for rain, and yeah, some people are already getting a little bit of it, but more to come tonight.
Yes, rain chances will be on the increase. And if you're watching at 9 a.m. or if you're watching KSAT News Now, we mentioned that today is May the 4th, which is also Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And we got a picture here on our KSAT Connect from Henderson Elementary. Happy Star Wars Day. That's pretty cool. That's some good memorabilia there. That looks like they're having fun at Henderson. We appreciate the picture. Like the lightsaber there. And yes, happy Star Wars Day. And if we look at the satellite picture right now, we've got a lot of cloud cover out there. We're watching for some storms out west. Those will develop a little bit later this afternoon along the Rio Grande, Del Rio, Eagle Pass. Those would be places that see some storms first, although we are seeing a couple of showers right around Hondo at this hour. Temperatures mid-70s, 77 degrees. Because the clouds are fairly thick, we're not going to warm up just a ton today, but I think we will make it into the low 80s here in town. Already seeing some mid 80s down there around Carrizo Springs. 75 Helotes, 76 Randolph, 77 in Stinson. The risk for severe weather basically scattered around our area on a scale of 1 to 5, a 2. Hail, gusty winds will be the main threats initially out west, and then we'll watch for that threat to push east a little bit later tonight. Here's your May the 4th forecast. We're calling for a high today of 83, 40% chance of storms this evening. We're getting into the spirit here in the weather department, guys.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Who's your daddy?
The White House is officially denying Russia's new claim that the U.S. was behind 2 drone strikes at the Kremlin. Ukraine also denying that involvement. ABC's Lindsay Watts has a look at video of those drone strikes. Russia says one of the strikes was an assassination attempt on President Putin.
Russian state media has released this video of drones exploding in the heart of Moscow. One smashing into the Kremlin's iconic domes, then a second exploding as it approaches the Russian flag. Russia has accused both Ukraine and the U.S. of attempting to assassinate Russian President Vladimir Putin, who wasn't there at the time.
There's a word that comes to mind that I'm obviously not appropriate to use on national TV.
On CNN today, White House spokesman John Kirby said Russia is lying about U.S. involvement.
It's a ludicrous claim. The United States had nothing to do with this. We don't even know exactly what happened here.
Ukrainian President Zelensky also denying Ukraine was behind the drone strike.
We don't attack Putin or Moscow. We fight on our territory.
Questions remain about whether this was a real attack or staged by the Russians.
There are reasons that Putin could conceivably want to conduct a false flag operation here. He wants to fire up the Russian people.
Overnight, air defense systems in Kyiv took out incoming drones believed to be part of Russian retaliation. Elsewhere, new strikes killing more than 20 civilians in the southern city of Kherson. Images showing destruction at a grocery store and a train station with nearly 50 people hurt. All of this coming ahead of a planned spring counteroffensive by Ukraine. In a statement, Russia called the alleged drone attack a planned terrorist attack. The Kremlin also issuing the warning that Russia has the right to retaliate when and where it sees necessary. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
The top executive at JPMorgan Chase will now go on the record this month regarding his and his company's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. He's going to be giving a deposition on what he knew about those convictions and accusations against Epstein while they were doing business with him. According to a source familiar with the cases, CEO Jamie Dimon is to be deposed on May 26th and 27th. The government of the U.S. Virgin Islands and an unnamed plaintiff accused JPMorgan executives of knowing about the sex abuse and the sex trafficking investigations, but continued to meet with him. The suits allege it continued for a year before bank executives cut ties with Epstein. The suit also accuses Morgan of obstructing the investigations of federal law enforcement and prosecuting agencies. Epstein died in prison in 2019 while awaiting trial on charges of sex trafficking.
The Federal Reserve voted unanimously to boost interest rates by a quarter point yesterday. That takes the federal funds rate from 5 to 5.2%. We haven't seen it this high in almost 16 years. Another financial matter still hanging over Washington, D.C., the debt ceiling crisis. President Biden, House Speaker McCarthy, and other top lawmakers will discuss the debt ceiling at a meeting scheduled for next week. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says the U.S. could default by June 1st if it isn't raised by then.
If you're concerned about the safety of your money in the bank, you are not alone. According to a new Gallup poll, nearly half of Americans say that they're concerned about the money that they have put into financial institutions. 19% say they're very worried. Another 29% are moderately worried. These findings similar to 2008, when Gallup last surveyed this question during the global financial crisis. Despite a string of bank failures in recent weeks, though, U.S. officials are saying the industry overall remains strong.
The Federal Trade Commission wants to tighten restrictions on Facebook owner Meta. The agency claims the company has improperly shared user data with third parties and failed to protect children. The FTC says Meta violated an agreement by giving personal information to apps that users are no longer using. The agency also says a messaging app marketed to kids allowed them to connect to contacts not approved by their parents. The new FTC proposal would forbid Meta from monetizing data collected from young users and forbid it from releasing any new features until a third-party auditor approves them.
Students are learning less, and their test scores are proving it. That apparently is especially true for 8th graders in the subjects of U.S. history as well as civics. According to a new report from the National Assessment of Educational Progress, researchers say that 40% of students scored below basic proficiency in 2022. That's up 6% since 2018. The new test score data comes after the NAEP reported last fall that scores for American 9-year-olds in reading and math fell by a level not seen in decades.
In your Health Minute, nearly 800,000 people suffer a stroke every year in the U.S., according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And believe it or not, many don't know the signs of this potentially deadly and debilitating condition. CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on the subtle signs to look out for in honor of Stroke Awareness Month.
1 in 3 stroke victims never call 911, according to the CDC, delaying critical care.
Early treatment is better in all cases.
Dr. Andrew Russman, medical director of Cleveland Clinic's Comprehensive Stroke Center, says many may not even know they're having a stroke, missing the subtle signs. Knowing the words "be fast" is a simple way to remember how to spot a stroke. B is for balance. Is the person suddenly having trouble with balance or coordination? E, eyes. Do they have blurred or double vision or sudden loss of vision in one or both eyes without pain? F, face drooping. Does one side droop or is it numb? To answer that question, ask the person to smile. A, arm weakness. A weak or numb arm or leg can be a symptom. Ask the person to raise both arms and watch for whether one drifts downward. S, speech difficulty. Ask the person to repeat a simple sentence. Watch for slurring or if the words are hard to understand. And T, time. If a person is having any of these symptoms, call 911 immediately.
This is not a situation when you're having those symptoms that you want to drive yourself to the emergency department or drive a loved one. You got to call 911 and get the care you need from the experts in the emergency department.
Recent research also finds stroke is happening more often in younger people.
It's critically important that people of all ages recognize that stroke can happen to them.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Good advice right there. If you're on the hunt for a raise or promotion, you're going to do more than just work hard. You're going to make sure that your accomplishments are not only noticed, but remembered.
Is it really bragging? When you're bragging?
If you deserve it.
The art of bragging is delicate balance and social skill that can be useful in personal and professional settings.
Got to make sure people notice you, right? Leslie Hutchin takes a look at how you can boast about your accomplishments to the boss in a way that leaves your successes lingering long after the meeting's end.
Why do you have to brag when you're showing your talent?
Some people will say boasting, some people will say bragging, but if you're doing something that's positive, then it's okay to brag.
I guess it depends on the way you do it. Bragging on your accomplishments.
Nobody likes a loud bragger. But how do you get your boss to notice you without being the most boastful person in the office? First tip, Replace every "we" you can with "I." Experts say it's about selling yourself. It's not bad to use "I" statements and accept the rewards if you're due. And own your accomplishments. Career coaches say owning your wins first and giving kudos after motivates everyone to do better. Lastly, drop the humble brag.
The boss just took me out to lunch because I've been doing such a great job, and he bought me drinks. Now I'm drunk. I can't even do any work.
Research from Harvard University showed humble braggers to be seen as incompetent and unlikable. The study showed them to be insincere and 65% less successful than those who were honest and sold it. Helping you brag to the boss the right way, I'm Leslie Hudson reporting.
I'm sticking with Muhammad Ali's way of going it. I am the greatest. Let's just go with that.
That was just get it out of the way.
I ain't bragging, just telling the truth.
There you go.
That's one way to do it. There's a look outside. We've got cloudy skies. We're going to brag about the forecast because it is a good one if you like rain. We've got a chance going into tonight. So far today, 77 degrees is our high temperature, 68 below this morning. So we've been right about on average, maybe a little bit above average when it comes to that morning low. It is going to be warm over the weekend. We'll talk temperatures, we'll talk rain chances, and we'll talk severe weather. It's coming up.
A little bit of rain here, a little bit of rain there. Coming this way, though, so looking good.
Rain with regularity, something we did not see hardly at all last year.
It feels that way, and we're starting to move in the right direction, right, when it comes to the frequency of thunderstorm chances and rain chances that we've had around here. The drought trying to go away a little bit. We got the drought monitor in today, so I'll share that with you. Notice our eastern counties, they've been taken out of the drought situation. That's pretty amazing considering where we were just about 6, 7, 8 months ago. Now, San Antonio, Comal County, still places that have been hit pretty hard, and we still have that exceptional drought right there from Bandera into Kerr and Kendall counties and in over towards Comal. So those are places that still need some good heavy rain. Hopefully we'll get some tonight. There's no guarantee. Today's kind of one of those conditional days, as I've been talking about. We've got to watch what happens out west first, but there is a chance there, and little by little, hopefully we can eat away at this drought. There's a little closer look. So places like Bernie, Comfort, Canyon Lake, Bandera, Medina Lake still very much within the drought, exceptional drought. And San Antonio sits in the extreme drought, although parts of Bexar County now in severe versus extreme. So again, we're making some strides here when it comes to the drought monitor. There's a look at the radar. We notice we've got some showers down there in parts of Medina County, a few more up in Bandera County. Nothing that's very heavy. This has all been really pretty light stuff, but we may see a few more showers here over the next couple of hours. This one moving just to the west of Hondo. And we'll zoom in a little bit closer here. Very light stuff. Right along Highway 90 between D'Hanis and Hondo is where that shower is right now. So you may get nothing more than a few sprinkles there in Hondo. As we look at the big picture, dry line setting up across West Texas. This is just one player in our forecast today. We're going to have some upper level energy moving in that combined with the dry line gives lift to some showers and storms right along that boundary, say 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. We're going to watch initially out west, places like Del Rio and Eagle Pass, where we could get the severe storms early, and then they'll work their way east as we get into tonight. So that's why San Antonio is included in the scattered risk for severe storms today. As we said earlier, on a scale of 1 to 5, we're talking about a 2. So it's somewhat low end, but we need to be aware of it, and we need to know that hail and gusty winds are going to be one of the big threats initially as these storms develop. And then we'll watch for some pockets of heavy rain too, which is not a bad thing. We just don't want it to go with the severe weather, right? So here's a look at the forecast. As we get towards 4 or 5 o'clock, storms are starting to work their way into our western counties. And then as they kind of come together, and a lot of the models are suggesting that they may, if we can get one of these complexes of showers and storms, then it will hold together as it moves towards San Antonio, say around 9, 10 o'clock tonight. There could be a couple strong storms still mixed in at this point, but it should be weakening. And this is where we could see some pockets of heavy rain too. Now the question is, what kind of path does this take? If it takes a more southerly route, maybe San Antonio doesn't get as much rain, and those areas that desperately need the rain don't get as much rain as we'd hope. It's still going to be a matter of where these storms develop out west tonight, and that'll tell us kind of what path this complex of showers and storms takes. So it's not a slam dunk, but we have some decent odds tonight. And by 3 or 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, the showers will have moved away. So here's what we're thinking as far as storm chances go for San Antonio. And the reason we're not going higher here, again, is because it depends on where exactly these storms move. Right now, 40% chance, 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. That's when you can plan for the highest odds of seeing some rain. 77 right now, cloudy skies. Dew point is way up there at 69. And we've got temperatures in the 70s pretty much everywhere right now, but we'll drift into the 80s. Some places could push 90 this afternoon, depending on where we see some sun. But here in San Antonio, we're going with 83. 89 tomorrow, quite a bit warmer, 20% chance of an afternoon storm. And we'll go 30% chance Saturday, Sunday with temperatures near 90. Basically near 90 through the foreseeable future. And, oh, by the way, it's humid too. So we've got heat indices to worry about. In each and every day, we could see some isolated afternoon storms, some of which could be strong to severe. So this is kind of more of like a summer-like pattern that we're getting into here. But keep that KSAT weather app handy tonight. We'll alert you if there are any issues as far as warnings with those storms, guys.
Thank you, Justin.
Hey, before Saturday's scheduled pomp and circumstance, a lot of work to be done, especially when it comes to security. A look at safety measures being put in place ahead of King Charles' coronation.
Royal watchers will be gathering. The latest on the coronation now. Saturday's celebration could be the biggest security operation in British history.
This follows this week's scare at Buckingham Palace. ABC's Laura Spencer has more on all the last-minute preparations. They're strictly like...
With the coronation just 2 days away, officials are doubling down on security. More than 11,000 police deployed around London in what could be the largest security operation in British history, hoping to keep disruptive protesters in check. Law enforcement on heightened alert after Buckingham Palace went into lockdown on Tuesday after a man allegedly threw what appeared to be shotgun cartridges onto the palace grounds, leading to that controlled explosion.
What was that?
As the city prepares for a celebration 70 years in the making, Big Ben was lit up last night, a practice for Sunday's light show. And the royals seen arriving for rehearsals at Westminster Abbey on Wednesday. The king's grandchildren, Princess Louis and George, and Princess Charlotte, all in tow. And after rehearsals, some fun. King Charles and Queen Camilla hosting a garden party celebration at Buckingham Palace. The pair mingling with hundreds of guests, including superstar Lionel Richie, seen sharing a laugh with the king and queen consort.
I mean, pinch me, somebody. I'm a kid at Christmas time.
And that was ABC's Laura Spencer reporting. The coronation ceremony will air live Saturday morning right here on KSAT12.
ABC's coverage begins at 4 a.m. You got to wake up early. And you can watch Good Morning San Antonio right after that at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning.
Mike's used to getting up that early, do GMSA, so he might get up and watch it for you. And then he can tell us what it was like.
Well, he had to get up extra early to put this on.
That's true, I did. May the 4th be with you, of course. It is Star Wars Day, and no matter what you say, the number 4 is still the best.
Oh, yes, that is so cool. You have to teach me how to do that. That's awesome. Okay, so we have guests from a galaxy not too far away. The Star Wars Society is here, and Jen is also not too far away. Jen, where are you at?
Starline Costumes, yes, they are not closing despite what you may have heard. And I have Emmett joining me. You guys sell costumes all year long.
Oh yes, we're open all year for all of your costuming needs.
And that includes rentals like these we have for May the 4th.
Yes.
And the rentals come with props, guys. Oh, look who's here. What? Oh, he's hungry. Okay, I'll get you some food. Back to you guys.
And the Youth Orchestra of San Antonio will be playing some Star Wars classics. No, I like this. I'm going to need you here on another day as well. And be sure to let us know, do you prefer Star Wars or Star Trek at SA Live KSAT on Facebook and
Star
Twitter?
Trek. It's got to be Star
Just in time. Just in time.